Well, the president and the Trump campaign have really activated a misinformation campaign, a misinformation machine, where you see people that are close to the president saying things that are simply not true, Judy, including his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, as well as former acting director of national intelligence, Rick Grenell. For example, in Nevada today, they brought out a voter who said that her mail-in ballot had been stolen. Clark County officials, election officials in Nevada said, one, they had no evidence of voter fraud, and two, they investigated that specific case, and that voter actually did not choose to challenge the mail-in ballot when they showed her the signature.
And what have you seen?
I've seen ballots that don't belong to anybody. They don't show up in the voter registration. There's no name attached to them.
And what are they doing with those ballots?
I'm challenging them, and
Okay.
they're supposed to put them in a box to be then
Okay.
reevaluated. But then multiple ballots that have several different numbers.
Okay.
One person with different numbers.
Okay.
We have whole lists of them. We're writing everything down all day long.
So are they improperly filled out and you're looking to disqualify them?
Yes. If they're
Okay.
improperly filled out, if they have no name, if they don't have a home, or if the person was born in 1921 but registered to vote in 1900, that kind of doesn't make sense.
So, but that's not on the ballot. When you vote, your ballot is just the balls and what you have on there. What are you seeing? Are you seeing people's
We say-
registration
yeah,
forms?
Yes, we are.
So on the tables, you have the ballot, and then you are able to see next to them
On a computer screen.
on a computer screen whose ballot
Yeah.
that is.
Sometimes the ballot itself has no name, but the ballot is filled out.
Okay.
And then if we go into the registration file, we
Okay.
find the person that has been was born in 1921, and it's just there's a lot that's not right.
What's wrong with being born in 1921?
But registering to vote in 1900, 21
Oh.
years before you're born.
Well,
So explain one more time.
So the people that were in front of me, there were two people in front of me that used a Sharpie.
Yes.
That was given to them by the poll workers.
Yes.
It did not read their ballot,
Okay.
and they slid it in there twice. I used a pen,
Yep.
took their Sharpie and threw it away.
And it read your
and
ballot.
it read my ballot.
And it read your ballot.
And it read my
So
ballot.
what they're doing is they're telling people to use the Sharpies. That way,
Yes.
those votes aren't counted.
Yes.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
So there was other people that were in there voting with their pens, and they literally went around and they were yanking pens out of their hands.
Yes, they tried to do that to me, and I took their Sharpie and I hid it because then they said, look for all the Sharpies that are not being used and take the Sharpies back. They had a bowl of pens behind them that they were not giving to people and only giving Sharpies out.
There we go. So the ones with the Sharpies are not being read at all.
No,
No. None of those ballots are being read.
of course not.
So and so they're doing it because they're trying to skew all of the votes in
Yeah,
there.
and they
That's
didn't,
exactly
and they
what's
didn't
going
try
on.
to even slide it more than one time. They immediately took it and slid it in the front, like not even tried a second time. They just
That's correct.
ran it through and slid it in the front, and I was like, wait a
That's what they
second.
did with yours?
Yep, and I just went with a Sharpie, voted Trump, and just slid it in, and that was it. But
But they're not counting. They're not counting the ones with the Sharpies. And so they're forcing people to use the Sharpies, and those votes aren't being counted.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Right. And then I posted it on my Facebook group chat in my neighborhood. They said they did it at the Queen Creek Library. They did it at ASU Polytech earlier. They're like 4 different polling places were doing Sharpies, all in, like, between Queen Creek and, like, the edge of Gilbert.
Yep. And those ones are not being counted.
Yeah.
They're invalid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have proof.
So they're invalidating votes is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
That's how
I
it
took a
feels like.
picture of my
Okay.
ballot. for
And then
Trump.
there was a guy that directly came out and yelled at me 3 times. They both came out.
Oh, no, they called the sheriffs
You guys
and said
saw
that,
it.
and told us to stop handing out the ballpoint pens, in which case those are the only ones that are actually being
Yeah.
counted and validated.
I used your pen and then I
Yeah.
sent it back to you and I
And
said,
they're-
give this to somebody. 'Cause this
Yes,
works."
yes. And so we know that, and we've been telling them you need to use a ballpoint pen, not the Sharpie, and now those are getting invalidated.
Yeah.
So people are coming here to vote for Donald Trump, and those votes are all getting invalidated. That's what's going on.
To just wait around and wait for these machines to be fixed. So that's possibly what's going on right now. More to come.
You sheriff deputy? Yeah. Come here. What message did you get about this technician?
My corporal called me and said that somebody was on the way to fix whatever was wrong with the...
When?
He's not here.
What?
He's not here.
I know, he said that was only 2 minutes, so I don't know where he's coming from.
Did you check?
I called him.
Okay, thank you. Here's the deal. If you are in line right now and did not vote, you have a choice. You may continue to wait till these machines are unjammed and you can vote, or you can leave and come back later on to vote later. Now, if that doesn't fit your schedule or whatever, then I strongly suggest you wait till the machines are unjammed. The third option is this. If the third option is this, if I can have your attention, please. Sir, if I can have your attention, you say it down the way. Okay, you heard him, it's on the way. The third option is this. You can find your name in the book, 9291. May I have your attention? 91 or 92. Find your name in the book. Vote. Put the vote in the emergency slot of each machine, and it will be scanned once the machine is unjammed.
In here.
Now,
Ballots in the emergency ballot box. When they're back
What's
on-
the guarantee?
When they're back up, we will scan the ballots. And that's something that has to happen. We don't just, set them to the side or, but they all have them.
This machine is broken, very locks, and this machine is locked just like that.
Imagine if pollsters were wearing MAGA hats instead of Biden-Harris masks. There will be riots in the streets by the Democrats saying that we're trying to steal the election. But when it's the other way around, somehow we're still trying to steal the election.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
So everybody wants to say that it's fake news about the mail-in ballots and some of them going missing and that sort of thing. I work for the U.S. Postal Service. We received an email this morning stating that in South Dakota alone, there were 200,000 ballots that were missing. Fake news? I don't think so.
The bipartisan commission chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker said back in 2009 that mail-in voting is fraught with the risk of fraud and coercion.
But since then, there have been
until
a lot
this
of investigations that haven't proved it.
Let me talk. In the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion. The only time the narrative changed is after this administration came in. Elections that have been held with mail have found substantial fraud and coercion.
As far as widespread fraud, we haven't seen that since.
Well, we haven't had the kind of widespread use of mail-in ballots that's being proposed. We've had absentee ballots from people who request them from a specific address. Now what we're talking about is mailing them to everyone on the voter list when everyone knows those voter lists are inaccurate. People trying to change the rules to this methodology, which, as a matter of logic, is very open to fraud and coercion, is reckless and dangerous. And the people are playing with fire.
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful.
Oh,
what's your unit number?
You're gonna get a handful?
What's your unit number?
322. You're gonna get a handful?
I'll probably put I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't do it.
And you'll put some in there for me.
I might, man.
All right,
I'll
brother.
see what I can do.
A postal worker in Nevada offered our undercover journalist a handful of ballots that was sent to the wrong address. This is another example of USPS voter fraud.
Project Veritas have posted a story in the last couple of hours that alleges some cases of voter fraud in Michigan. Have a look and make up your own mind.
So 8 p.m. Election Day, November 3rd, the Court of Appeals ruled ballots have to be received by that time. And what were you told?
To separate them today so they can mark them with yesterday's date.
Some of us got some extra ballots and stuff. How many of those you getting lately? People with extra ballots are undeliverable or
It's been quite a few.
Quite a few?
You know, people are sending based off their old address. So, yeah, it's been quite a few.
Well, if it wasn't me, though, hypothetically, though, it could be done.
I can't say nothing because I don't know. I'm just a delivery.
All right. But there's a lot of them out there like that, though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, there are.
Where's the most of them at then? If we were hypothetically...
A handful?
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful. What's your unit number?
You're gonna get a handful?
What's your unit number?
322. You gonna get a handful?
I'll probably put I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't do it.
And you'll put some in there for me.
I might, man.
All right,
I'll
brother.
See what I can do.
Are you guys collecting ballots? Yeah. I thought they collected them all. I just want to document.
No, we're still collecting.
How much? Wait, but how come they already called the state?
Because these are mail-in ballots. It's different.
Are there a ton in there?
Yeah.
All right. Are you collecting from a lot of places? Yeah. All right. I'll just document. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you guys official election guys? All right. And let me just ask you one thing. Where do you guys take them?
Election center. That's it.
Is that in the government building?
LA County.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there a lot more in there?
6 feet, please.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I just want to see because they called our state so
6 feet,
quickly.
please.
I know. I am.
You don't have a mask either.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I'm not big into sharing my politic views on this app, but I am big into doing things fair. But can you explain to me why the deputy clerk of Nutley, New Jersey, let's call her Karen, instead of bringing these boxes sealed to the Board of Elections in Newark, New Jersey, brought them back to the municipal building and opened them up and started going through them? This is not what should have happened. These boxes should have been sealed and brought directly to the Board of Elections in Newark, New Jersey.
Of the 138,000 that came at 4:30 or 4:45 in the morning, how many of those votes were Biden votes of the 138,000?
Basically all but I think 5,000.
How is that? You do this for a living, and you're a pro's pro. How is mathematically that possible? But
Right.
where you've got this scale, right? Have you ever seen something at 96%?
No, not on this scale. Not at this level.
What happened in Wisconsin? What do you think happened in Wisconsin, Rich?
I think they waited to see what those absentee ballots looked like in Kenosha. They had about 6,000, and then they did the math on that. You know, Steve, if this was going to be on the up and up, they shouldn't have did it at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's really what is going to send people to the moon. It should have been done out in the open. There was really no reason why it could not have been done last night. We were told it would not be done until the next day, but 4 a.m. is not the next day. That's not, you got to do this stuff out in the open.